You may be wondering why there is a connection between your gut health and your ability to conceive, because it's not something that's really talked about very often, is it? And you may not have even heard of it before, but it does actually play a vital role in your fertility. I'm Sue Ritchie, the fertility coach, and I'm going to be sharing with you why it's so important to really take care of your health and get your health into a good place before you actually conceive. And, actually then maintaining your health throughout pregnancy and beyond is really important too, because you want to be really, enjoying your pregnancy, feeling healthy and energized. And you want to go into actually becoming a new mum, feeling healthy and energized as well, because that's going to make the experience so much better for you. But, actually your health is, being healthy at the time that you conceive is important for both you and your partner, because when you're both really healthy, you're more likely to have healthy eggs and healthy sperm, and that means you're more likely to have a healthy baby. And I know that, you will want the best for your child, but it's also important to want the best for you. And I know as a woman that so often we really don't actually put ourselves first. We're always putting others first, and not, always taking the greatest of care with our own health and well-being. But, it is something that, is really important and something that you should be looking to do. And, when you're going on an airplane, you have that situation, don't you, where, as part of the safety instructions, you're told to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Well, it's absolutely true. And, as you sort of step into the whole world of becoming a mum, a parent, is even more important for you to really, put yourself first and take care of your health and well-being, so that you can actually, be there to really take care of your child in a great way. And, I'm sure that you'll have noticed that, over the last couple of years or so, more and more is being talked about in the media, the press and on television, and lots of articles and stuff coming out talking about the importance of gut health. And, it is absolutely fundamental to our health and actually to our mental well-being as well. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about why that is, and what the signs are, and why it's so important to get your gut health into a good place before you become pregnant. So if you can bear with me a minute, I just need to just share my screen and get some slides up so that you can see those. So I'm just going to do that now. Just bear with me. We'll get this up and running. I need to move that out of the way. Okay, great. I think we're all set now. Good. Okay. So, research has, shown that, your gut health really dictates whether you'll actually, stay healthy, or you will get a disease. And, that's important not only for you, but it's important because, it has an impact on the health of your baby as well. So let's take a look into more detail as to, why the health of your gut is just so important. So there are a number of elements really, but 70 to 80% of your immune system actually lies in your gut. Did you know that? So, this will help you to protect you from getting illness and disease. So that's quite critical. And, and staying healthy also means that, you're avoiding disease and ill health yourself, but that also means that, you can actually prevent your baby from having any impact from having those situations. And, it very much, your gut, a lot of the key hormones and are produced in the gut, but also the key fertility hormone, estrogen, is actually managed in the gut. So that's really, critical to your whole reproductive system and conceiving. And your gut actually has an influence over the health of every system in your body. And that includes the sort of reproductive system as well. So, you really want to make sure that every, element and every system in your body is working well. And it also affects you emotionally. Did you know that your gut and your brain are actually connected, and they actually talk to each other on a constant basis? And 80% of serotonin is actually made in the gut. And, that's the feel-good factor hormone. So, with those two facts, you'll see that, not only your physical health, but your mental health is actually connected to your gut health as well. So let's look at what the microbiome actually does. What is it? Well, your gut microbiome consists of lots of microbes, bacteria, fungus, protozoa, viruses, and all of these actually live on and inside your body. And the majority actually live in our gut, particularly our large intestine. And the gut bacteria is really about the size, it's sort of about the size of our brain. So it's quite a big mass of organisms there. And and so often people talk about the gut being the second brain. I don't know if you've heard that. And the gut, the bacteria in our microbiome helps us digest our food. It regulates our immune system, and it protects against other bacteria that might actually cause disease. And as I mentioned, it actually produces vitamins and hormones. So it plays a very, very big role. And one thing you might not realize is that only 10% of your cells contain your DNA. The other 90% is actually made up of microbes and fungus and microflora. So that's quite an amazing thing, isn't it? So there are literally thousands and thousands of bacteria species, tens and trillions of microorganisms in your gut. And it's actually equivalent to about 4 pounds of bacteria. And, your gut health, if you like, the gut microbiome is something that you acquire. And, you acquire that from the time you're born. And it's affected by the environment, things that you're exposed to, and actually being exposed to bacteria actually helps to boost your immune system, create your immune system. And actually your microbiome, everybody's is as unique to them as your fingerprints, and the whole balance of the gut microbiome can really be altered by a lot of different factors, and I will get on to talk to those later. So what's its function? Well, we've sort of touched on some of this before. It's there to provide immunity, so it's our immune system. It has an impact on our brain health and hormone production. And as I said before, 80% of serotonin is actually made in the gut. And depression is linked to poor gut health. And I'm sure that's probably something that is a bit of a surprise to you, because we don't tend to think of things like, anxiety and depression as being something that's, that might be affected by our gut, but more a mental thing. And obviously, our gut's there to actually, do all the digestive processes, absorbing crucial nutrients that you need for your reproductive health and your general health. And, one of the key things that happens when you do have poor gut health is that you end up with nutrient deficiencies, mineral imbalances, and inflammation. And this can all affect your hormone levels, but also it affects the absorption of vital vitamins and minerals that you're going to need to not only be healthy, but to really, allow your body to be able to conceive. So one of the key problems with poor gut health is something called leaky gut syndrome. And when you have a leaky gut, it really doesn't matter how healthy your diet really is, because what will be happening is that food and other particles will be actually escaping into your immune system and actually causing inflammation in the body. But it also means that you won't be actually absorbing all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that you need to stay healthy. So one of the things, it's really important to actually go through a process to detox your body and reset your gut microbiome before getting pregnant. And this is something that I focus on actually in my programs, working with my clients, simply because it is really key to the whole situation of increasing your potential to conceive, but also helping you to, increase the chances of having a healthy baby. So what are the key signs of poor gut health? Well, the key ones really, and I'm sure, you understand and know this, is digestive problems, bloating and wind. And yet you might not realize just how important those are, because it seems like, everybody has them, therefore it's a common thing, so therefore it's normal. And of course, we see so many adverts, don't we, on the television of products that are designed to help with digestive issues. But the reality is that if you are having those digestive problems, indigestion, bloating and wind, they are actually very early signs that things aren't actually good in your gut. And it's at that point that you really need to pay attention and do something to actually get your gut back into a really good state. Then there's things like problems with focusing, concentrating, having problems with your memory and brain fog, things like athlete's foot and fungal nail infections, and yes, those cravings for sugar and carbs. Now, how many people have those? I'm sure you've all experienced them. You've experienced them personally. I've experienced them personally in the past as well. And yet, so often we think that, we can't stop eating them because we haven't got enough willpower. What's wrong with us? But the truth is that it's actually what's going on in your gut with the bad bacteria that's actually causing those cravings for sugar and carbs, because the bad bacteria love sugar, and refined carbs turn into nice sugar as well. And, they want to grow and multiply. So it makes you want to eat more and more of their favorite food. And then there's all the things to do with, mood swings, irritability, anxiety or depression. And further signs are, just, fatigue, feeling tired all the time, chronic fatigue, for things like fibromyalgia, autoimmune diseases, things like Hashimoto's, ME, vitiligo, those sorts of autoimmune diseases. If you've got vaginal infections, thrush, recurrent cystitis, rectal vaginal itching, skin problems, things like eczema, hives, rashes, seasonal allergies, like hay fever, and itchy ears. And I don't mean itchy ears particularly on the outside, but actually inside. And I can tell you it can drive you mad. So what causes poor gut health in the first place? Well, gut health is something that actually is something that's affecting an awful lot of people today. And, one of the key things is what and how you eat has a big impact on gut health. If you're eating a diet that's, rich in nutrition and is easily digestible, you're going to feel energetic, you're going to be healthy because your microbiome is thriving. If, on the other hand, you're eating a diet that has an awful lot of processed foods in it, you're having a lot of bad fats, it's high in sugar, you're going to be feeling pretty tired and, probably getting sick. And, your microbiome will be flourishing with all of those bad bugs. And, one of the biggest problems we're facing really is that over the last 30, 40 odd years, our diets have changed significantly. And, I think this is part of the fact that, we just seem to be becoming, living much more busy lives, trying to fit many, many things into our 24-hour day. And as a result of that, we're turning to eating more processed foods, getting takeaways, ready meals, and things like that. But all of those foods are actually very damaging and harmful, not only to our gut health, but to our overall health. And recent studies have shown that our diet today, on average, it consists of 65% of processed foods. And those processed foods are being shown to be having a real damaging effect on our health, a significantly damaging effect on our health. So, it's really important to be eating a really healthy diet with good protein, lots of fiber, lots of vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, and eating whole grains rather than refined, carbohydrates. So things that are made with white flour and things like that. And, good fiber is really eating sort of cruciferous vegetables, more leafy greens and all of those sorts of things. And we have to talk about sugar. It's a real problem, I'm afraid. And, the consumption of sugar has increased significantly over the years. And, sugar is a high, it features very much in processed foods and ready meals and things like that. And the problem is that, in the body's response to eating sugar and all those refined carbohydrates is that our body creates insulin, and insulin is a fat growth cell hormone. So that has a big factor in terms of, putting on weight and all of that side of things. And whilst we're sort of talking about weight, carrying excess weight is a factor in infertility and can stop you, conceiving. But, being underweight also can actually reduce the chances of you conceiving too. But, what you might not realize is that actually your gut microbiome plays a huge role in this whole issue of carrying excess weight. And the good news for you really is that, if you feel that you need to be shifting a few pounds of excess weight, and I know what that was like because I was back there in about 13 years ago. And I struggled with my weight and tried all sorts of things and couldn't shift the weight at all. But it was only when I went through a process of rebalancing my whole gut microbiome, changing my diet, I was able to easily, within 3 months, I lost 2.5 stone, that's 35 pounds in weight, and was able to actually, maintain a healthy diet and keep the weight off. But here's what scientists have discovered about the effect of poor gut health. Now, they did a study with pairs of twins, actually, and they took twins where one twin had a weight problem and the other twin was slim. And they were identical twins, and they then implanted the microbiome from each of the twins into 2 mice that were absolutely identical, that they were fed exactly the same thing, the same foods. And basically, this is what happened, what you see here. The mouse that was given the microbiome from the twin who was carrying excess weight, unfortunately, they put on a lot of weight too. And the mouse that inherited the microbiome from the slim twin remained slim. So, cleansing and rebalancing your gut can really help to really shift any excess weight that you're carrying and that you might not have been able to shift before. So have you ever had an antibiotic? I'm sure you have. Most of us have, and probably, more times, more than once for sure. And basically just one course of antibiotics can have a real drastic impact on your gut microbiome, simply because They not only kill the bad bacteria, they kill off all the good bacteria. And it's so important when you do have antibiotics, to actually, try not to have them if you possibly can. But if you do have to have them, then it's really important to be taking a probiotic to replenish after you finish the course of antibiotic. So to put the good bacteria back in your gut. Now, the contraceptive pill, you may have been taking this, and the thing about it is that it does play havoc with your gut. And quite importantly, it depletes your B12, your folate, and your zinc levels. And of course, all of those are really important when it comes to fertility and for the health of your baby. So, I would say, really important to take a few months to really prepare your body, eat healthy food, get your gut into a really good place before you actually try to conceive, so that everything is in a good place. Then there's alcohol, and unfortunately, alcohol really is not a good thing to be drinking when you're looking to conceive. And that applies, all of what I'm saying applies not only to a woman, but it also applies to a man, because it does take two to tango. And, drinking between 1 and 5 drinks a week has been proven through scientific studies that it actually reduces the chances of conceiving. And it can also have an effect on the health of your baby too. And the big problem with drinking alcohol is that it actually not only kills off the good bacteria in the gut, it again also depletes some of your key vitamin levels as well, and can lead to inflammation in the gut. Then we've got this obsession that we've seemed to have had that's been developing over the last years, and probably increasingly in recent years, is an obsession with cleanliness and antibacterial everything. Unfortunately, is not good for your gut microbiome, and it's not good for your immune system. And, when our houses are too clean and we're using a lot of chemical cleaning products, it really is a problem for our health. And, those antimicrobial products that we're seeing, they actually contain a chemical called triclosan. And triclosan is actually an endocrine disruptor. So it will have an impact on your reproductive system. So, it's really important to try and avoid those as much as possible. Yes, I'm not saying not to clean, but use natural cleaning products rather than using chemical products. And it's actually important for babies and small children to actually have exposure to bacteria, because that helps them to build a strong immune system. And, stress is another factor that has an impact on your whole gut microbiome as well, disrupting it and causing problems. So, and stress isn't great for helping you to conceive either. So really important to look at finding ways to really manage your stress levels. So I'd just like to sort of quickly sort of summarize really how your gut health and sort of digestion and all of this stuff actually affects your fertility. It's so important to really plan ahead and prepare and get yourself in a good place before you conceive, because it's going to be not important for you, but also to ensure that you have a healthy baby. So, it causes leaky gut. We talked about that, which can cause nutrient deficiencies, mineral imbalances, and inflammation. And with all of this going on, it decreases your body's ability to get rid of harmful estrogens or xenoestrogens, but also excess estrogens. And xenoestrogens are actually, they come from chemical products that create false estrogens in your body. So it can add to the estrogen levels. And if you have too much estrogen, then that can be a problem in blocking your ability to conceive. And it also have an effect on depressing your thyroid function. And if your thyroid's not working properly, then that has an impact on your fertility as well. So, it's really important to make sure that your hormones are well balanced. And that's what, having your gut in a good place will ensure. Because a key reason that many women struggle to conceive is because the whole balance of estrogen is out of sync. And, getting your gut in a good place will be good, because too much estrogen can cause irregular periods, can prevent you from ovulating, and obviously that results in infertility. And, if you have too much estrogen dominance has also been linked to infertility issues such as endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome, which is, PCOS. And, if people have an estrogen deficiency as well, can cause abnormal absence of periods and no ovulation. So, it's also connected to your brain and has an impact on your emotions. And, when you actually, your gut microbiome, if you have a baby by vaginal birth, your gut microbiome actually gets passed on to your baby. So if your gut microbiome isn't in a good place when your baby is born, then your baby is more likely to develop health issues, which is obviously something that you don't want to happen. None of us do. Of course, I've touched on this, but the whole situation with gut and having a healthy gut is just as important for your partner, your husband, because if he has gut health issues, then that's going to have an impact on his fertility. And you want, not only for you to have healthy, strong eggs, but he needs to have healthy sperm as well. And, why not? When you go into parenthood, you want to go into parenthood feeling healthy, feeling energized, in a good place, so that your baby can benefit from having two healthy parents. And that's really why I like to work with couples, and I like to work with them to really optimize, all of the factors that underpin fertility, so that they increase their chances of conceiving and of having a healthy baby. So if you're aware, that you have any of those signs of poor gut health, and you want to really increase your chances of conceiving and of having a healthy baby, then I really recommend that you look to actually work on, and work with somebody to really get your gut health into a really good place. And, even if you're at the stage where, you're thinking that you're going to have to go through IVF treatment, it's really worth actually taking the time to prepare yourself, get your health in a good place, get your gut in a really good place too, because that's going to, increase the chances of success, and maybe reduce the numbers of IVF treatments and rounds of treatment that you're going to have to go through. And that's going to reduce all the emotional anguish and financial stress that might bring. Unfortunately, that it tends to be quite a stressful situation going through IVF in many cases. So what I truly know is that when you have a healthy gut, you're going to be a healthy woman and ultimately a healthy mum, and you're more likely to have a healthy baby. So really, start putting yourself first, because it really is important and you are worth it. So I just want to, say to you, healthy gut equals healthy mum equals healthy baby.